But the opportunity is there. I believe the message is better understood and available to us than ever before. We're in better shape than the Soviet system in Russia because they did not have our traditions. We've sort of forgotten our traditions because we used to believe in property rights. Today, we really don't own our property. The government owns it. We pay rent for it. And if you want to use it, you have to start at the federal level all the way down and maybe go through 20 agencies before you can get approval to use your land. We used to believe in contracts. The government was supposed to protect contracts. That's a responsibility of government. But the government now violates contracts because they impose on you exactly what you can do, who you hire, who you fire, and what you pay, and the whole work. They were supposed to maintain a sound currency, and they had the death penalty for anybody who participated in counterfeiting written in the Coinage Act of 1792. But who's the chief counterfeiter now? It's the Federal Reserve. I don't know, but I am not advocating the same penalty yet. But we know we have our traditions and we have an understanding, so the resurrecting that is not quite as difficult as in other places. But it is not, the politician doesn't do this. It's you that does it. You have to do it. And it has to be something that's done individually and then spread out, which means the responsibility is on your shoulders to do your very best to understand the issues. I'm convinced that I probably spent 10 or 15 years just trying to figure this out because I think, like maybe some of you, had instincts to know that you'd like to be left alone. And then all of a sudden you're taught from grade school up, from movies and newspapers and schools and everything else, oh no, that's selfish and that's wrong, and you have to be dependent on the state. So they sort of whip it out of us. But that is a natural instinct to want to be free. It should be a natural instinct, and I believe it is, to be responsible for oneself and family. But just think, if everybody took care of themselves and everybody helped their families, there wouldn't be a whole lot of need in this country. But the argument they're going to use against you and say, well, that sounds cold-hearted. There's going to be somebody that doesn't have a job. But they give us a system and we have 20% unemployment rate, and we're supposed to believe they're going to give us the answer. No, every system is going to have some problem. Total freedom and free markets will still have some problems. The thing of it is, will be minimized. But there'll be greater prosperity and a greater chance for people to help others. And this is the reason that we sort of lose the moral high ground, because the opposition said, oh, we're going to give you a free house, we're going to give you free medical care and free education, everything is free. But nobody asks, well, where are you going to get it? They've never come to the conclusion, which is true, is the only way they can give you something for free is they have to steal it from somebody else. So the freedom movement is alive and well, and I am very encouraged, and like I said in my opening remarks, that there's been a lot of momentum. I've been very pleased with what has happened since then. There's a lot more interest than ever before, and there's a little less confrontation right now going on, but at least the people are demanding more information, and they're recognizing what kind of a problem that we have today. But we do need to know a couple basic things about our freedoms, because too many people have come to the belief that our freedoms, sort of come from our government, like, our houses and our food and everything comes from the government. But our freedoms don't come from our government. They come to us in a natural or God-given way, and it's our life that is so precious that counts. Which means it's your life, and you're responsible for it, and that it's your liberty, and you have the liberty to run your life as you so choose. The only thing you don't have a right to do is steal and rob and hurt other people. Liberty doesn't mean you have a right to violate somebody else's liberty. So if you are going to have government, hopefully local government, they would restrain this use of force to try to injure other people or take from other people. And if you can't do it, why in the world did we as a country allow our government to do the robbing and the pushing and the redistribution of wealth? That doesn't work. But in a free society, the one reason why a lot of people reject it, there's some who will reject it from the economic viewpoint and say, oh no, it's not fair, won't take care of the poor, and therefore we must redistribute the wealth. Of course they said we're going to help the poor, but who got the wealth? Wall Street gets the wealth, the banks get the wealth, the foreigners get the wealth, and the poor people get poorer here. So they argued that case, but it really doesn't hold that we need a redistributor of wealth. But another group will go to Washington and state government and all, and they say, yes, you're good people and you will assume responsibility for yourself, but you're not quite capable of making good choices on your personal habits. You might end up smoking or drinking, and heaven forbid you might gamble on the internet, and that would be devastating to the world. Now, some of those habits can devastate an individual, but it should be their responsibility, but not the responsibility of the government to redistribute wealth or tell you how to live your life.